mama, don't stress your mind. We coming home tonight. Have my...
Hey guys, my name's Annika Jamar and welcome to my channel. If you want to see how I got this look, then just keep watching. So I actually started off using this Benefit Browsing pomade thing. So yeah, I used the wax first and then set that down with the powder, and this basically darkened up and shaped out my eyebrow, basically just thickening it. And then I went in with my Nars foundation. I actually like using a foundation to carve out my eyebrows as opposed to a concealer, but I also put this down first as a base to counteract all the redness on my eyelid. And then I went in with this Estee Lauder Double Wear Concealer just to make sure that everything was very much concealed as a base for the eyeshadow. This is the Decay Shapeshifter palette. I only really like the powders in this palette, and I used the translucent powder just to set down everything. And then I went in with the Bahama Mama's bronzer as a transition shade, because this is going to be a very dark vampy look, which is why I needed something to just ease its way in, you know? Yeah. This is the main palette I used. It's the Huda Beauty Desert Dusk palette, and I started off with the shade Saffron, which is basically just a reddish shade. I've never actually come across this shade in any other palette before, so this is the one that I used. And I just used this to deepen up the brown, and it came out with this really lovely red kind of color. Then I took the shade Desert Sand and just dusted this underneath my eyebrow as a highlight shade, and also to clean everything else up, and went back in with the red shade. Then afterwards I took this brown shade, and then I used this on my entire lid with a flat shader brush. But I felt like this wasn't dark enough. I don't know why, I just thought it would be darker. But I blended it out anyway. And then I love this little thing. It's called Nightcap. It's by Clinique, and it's like 2 eyeshadows. They are so underrated and not talked about enough. But I took the grey shade and used this as a base for the black that I went in with, from this Prism palette by Anastasia Beverly Hills. You don't really need this entire palette for this look. I literally only took the black shade and went back and forth and just blended this out. This look takes a lot of blending. In the crease I went back in with the Clinique Nightcap shade and just to dust it out, and I kept going back into the black shade to counteract everything and deepen it up again, because when I blended everything out it just kind of went grey again, you know? A good smoky eye takes a lot of patience, so yeah, I just kept going back and forth and intensifying the black as I went on. If you're doing this look, make sure you do your eyeshadow first. Then I took this, it's called Hustle by Collection, and I just tapped this into my eyelid. It's just a little bit of glitter, just something, a pop of something in the middle of my eye. I didn't go straight in using the brush. I put it on my hand first and then tapped it on my eyelid with my finger, and then I went back in with the red shade, the grey shade, and just intensified everything and made sure it was all blended and smooth. The black lost its oomph, so I went back in with it again and blended it out. Then I had to wipe away all of that fallout and clean it all up, and then went in with this NYX matte eyeliner, which is my faves. I mentioned this in my last Eid tutorial, but yeah, I do really love this. Then this I had never used before. It's the Catrice, it's the red one basically, and I heard people raving about this, but I'm not gonna lie to you, it was all right, it wasn't amazing. Then I actually used this eye pencil by Elf, and I took this down a bit and made sure that it went lower than my actual eyeball. I went back in with it again anyway. But I used the foundation that I mentioned earlier, the Nars Sheer Glow, and just pressed it into my skin, and used the same concealer that I used earlier. But then afterwards I felt like this concealer was a bit dark, like it just matched my skin tone. I wanted something that was going to highlight my face, so I used this by Collection Lasting Perfection, I think it's called. Yeah, it says it right there. But yeah, this is in the shade 3 and this is so good. It's the best drugstore concealer ever. I need to stock up on this. But yeah, I just blended all of that out and then I used the Shapeshifter powder, but I felt like I needed something more, so I went in with this Essence one, which is also a product that I need to stock up on. This literally costs like £3 and it is so good. I also went in with a big fluffy brush and attacked my face with it using the Essence powder. And I felt like my eyebrows kind of lost their zhuzh and impact, so I just intensified it a bit more. And then I went in with the saffron shade again, but it looked kind of pink to me, so I went back and forth with the grey shade and then cleaned it up with my beauty blender that I did my foundation and concealer with, and then obviously set it all. This look, you need to keep going back and forth until it's at the level that you want it to be, the level of intensity. I wanted it super poppy outy, so yeah, I actually went in with the Catrice mascara, but I felt like it wasn't enough. It wasn't giving me the craziness that I wanted because I'm not using falsies, so I went in with the telescopic mascara, and this really, you know, the build up of both of them really did it. And then afterwards I went back in with that e.l.f. pencil liner. This is the Huda Beauty 3D highlighter palette, and I actually only use one shade from this, and I use this for my inner corner, but I also used the white shade from the Nightcap one and used that, and then I went in with the 2 brown shades from this, and this really gave me a lovely tan kind of color, and I just love how the shade looks on my face. And I just contoured my face using a small brush, and then I used the excess from that powder brush to carve it out a bit more. Then I highlighted my underneath my eyebrow using a smaller brush from that same Naked palette, and I used this for blush. I actually used the lighter shade, which is called Tease Me, which you would think wouldn't show up on my skin tone, but it really does. It adds something a little subtle, but it's really great. I loved it. And then I used the Bahama Mama's one to contour my nose. The highlight that I'm using on my face is actually the Huda Beauty one. I love how intense it is. I thought I wouldn't like it, but I do. And then I already actually have a beauty spot here, but it gets covered by the foundation, so I just went back in and just, you know, gave it the zhuzh that it needed. And then I intensified the eyeliner that I had. This is a Spice lip liner. It is literally the only MAC lip liner that I absolutely adore. And then I used this brown shade called Envy by Estee Lauder, and I'm so into this shade, honestly. It's like it got a hint of red in it, but it's very dark, and the more you apply it, the more intense it gets. This is the setting spray that I used to set my face. But yeah, that pretty much completes this look. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and if you did, remember to like, comment and subscribe. So yeah, enjoy this little posy session. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.